Welcome to Abstract Illusions Radio with host Jennifer Hillman. The show explores and reveals the human potential through creativity. So enjoy the show to create a life you love.
Hello everybody, this is Jennifer Hillman in Abstract Illusions, where we explore and expose the different aspects of the human experience through spirituality and creativity. Today's guest is Adma Elenbaas. He is an astrologer from nightlifeastrologer.com, and I found him a long time ago, and I watched him grow so much on Facebook, and then the other day I caught him live on Facebook, and it just like my head went double and said, wow, I've got to just sit still and listen to what Adam's going to say, because it was so powerful. And so Adam, thank you so much, and I'm just so thrilled to have you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jennifer. I'm really excited to be here.
I am a student of astrology. I have been studying it literally since I was a little kid. I've always been drawn to it, but I am very much the student of it still. I think it's a very powerful tool in understanding oneself and what's going on. So how did you get introduced to astrology?
So it's kind of a. I'll try to make a short story. It's a long story, but I in my early 20s, I started participating in ayahuasca ceremonies in Central America, and these sort of psychedelic plant medicine ceremonies from Peru in particular. Really were sort of the gateway for me, my spiritual path, I guess you could say. So it was really through those these ceremonies are very healing and sort of there's a real visionary component to them that I was sort of exposed to the concept of I guess archetypes. And then the experience was very visceral experience with archetypes led me sort of one chance encounter and friendship after another until someone sort of said you should really check out astrology, and I read a book. It was a basic book on sun signs. And then I was just like I got bit by the bug. But this whole experience had been precipitated by a whole backstory in my family surrounding the Christian faith. I grew up a preacher's kid, and my father was a minister in the United Methodist Church. I grew up in Midwest Minnesota. And my father was sort of really starting to question his faith and having burnout issues as a minister in church, and as his sort of faith and in some ways his sort of psychic health was deteriorating. I was also sort of on a parallel path starting to explore ideas and experiences outside the sort of the walls of Christianity. So the experiences that I had on the Amazon really transformed my faith life and opened it and deepened it, and then from there astrology sort of naturally found its way in, as well as yoga, another part of my life.
Yes. So I have met many people who have taken our Rasca, and it really does open your mind and your heart to the greater scheme of things. I have not personally experienced it. I would love to. But it really is. I have had on Pat Mary, and he is a big ayahuasca user. He goes down at least once a year to cleanse himself and healing, and then he comes back and he teaches and writes on many things. So with the experience of your upbringing and then the ayahuasca, do you feel that the archetypes in astrology opened your mind to a greater understanding of the universe overall?
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of funny because on the one hand, I think, ayahuasca experiences, studying astrology, and all of this, studying yoga, it sort of simultaneously helps you to recognize your place in the cosmos, sort of embodies you and helps you find yourself in a way that feels realer than anything you've ever experienced. But I think simultaneously, once you're really situated in yourself, you're also able to recognize the vastness and the mystery beyond. And it turns out that what's really valuable is not having it all figured out, but in knowing yourself and knowing where you actually stand in relationship to the mystery. And I think that's what it does more than that. At least ayahuasca and my astrology have put me in that kind of position more than it's like told me all the answers or anything.
Right. I find that for me a lot of, in all my practices that I do a variety of studies in spirituality, it's like I get more thrills out of, or more understandings of, just asking the question and not necessarily finding the answer, to open the way into the mystery and just see what unfolds by asking the question.
Yeah, totally.
So right now we have just kind of finished up a cleansing, in a way, of beliefs, having Saturn in Sagittarius, and Saturn is the reality check planet, in my view.
Yeah.
And with it being in Sagittarius, it really makes you question beliefs and spirituality and a lot of those elements that have been, in a way, kind of pushing down on you and your place in the universe. Now we're going into Capricorn. And what are your feelings on the big upheaval of Saturn being in its home sign of Capricorn?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, that's definitely the topic of the day with Saturn changing signs tonight, at least on the East Coast tonight. I mean, it's always important in astrology. One of the things in modern astrology, which sometimes actually clouds our understanding of things, is that we tend to place a lot of emphasis on signs rather than understanding signs as the temples of the gods of the planets. So when people say Capricorn is like this, Capricorn is like that, and there's a lot of emphasis on Capricorn. What we're forgetting is basically Capricorn is like the it's like the feminine earth home of Saturn. So it's more like a particular like a particular plot of land or a particular temple Saturn hangs out in, and one of Saturn's two homes. And so it's not really that Capricorn is like this or like that, as much as it is that Saturn has a particular dimension or quality, or different dimensions and qualities, and they are embodied differently between Saturn's masculine and feminine homes. So when Saturn comes into Capricorn, it's not that Capricorn has some effect on Saturn, or that we should really be spending a lot of time talking about Capricorn doing something, as much as it is that Saturn itself starts to embody its more feminine, earthy qualities. what the real question sort of then becomes, well, what does it mean that Saturn has been Zeus's sign, Jupiter's sign, and Jupiter's fiery masculine sign, and is now entering its own feminine earthy home. And that transition is one of the things that has been a hallmark of the last 2.5-3 years. Saturn in Sagittarius has been the emphasis on truth and conviction and ideology, philosophy. There's been ideological sort of battles taking place. So my Facebook feed has been evidence of this, in my opinion, for the last 3 years. Nothing but long, weighty treatises on political points of view and arguments and things like that, and those are valuable. It's really good to get into that stuff. And Saturn can when Saturn is in Jupiter's sign. You have also some real back and forth progressivism and conservatism. You have conservatives acting like radical youthful sort of quote unquote liberals, and you have liberals acting like conservatives. You can see that back and forth very fluidly because the dynamic between Saturn is between winter and spring, youth and old age. So you had interesting dichotomies. Like you had Bernie Sanders, who was like sort of cantankerous, sort of fiery old guy, but he's extolling these really progressive virtues. Or you have Donald Trump, who is this kind of puer, can't quite grow up. He's almost like a child. But, he's extolling the intensely conservative values. It's just these weird dichotomies like that were like everywhere quite a while. And now you have Saturn. Feminine sign. So things are going to shift quite a bit as Saturn stops doing a sort of Saturn. No longer has to express in the home of Zeus. It's now able to express itself on its own terms. What that typically means is. Well, I'll just pause there. Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I wasn't just like babbling. So.
You're not babbling. You're informing.
Okay. Yeah. So Saturn gets into Capricorn. First of all, I just joked around today, and I wrote today, and I said, the sort of era of ideological and political intense back and forth. In one sense, it's never ending, right? It's not like it's going to just end in some literal sense. But the emphasis will shift. And Saturn and Capricorn is a lot more earthy. The idea of natural law and rule of cause and effect. If you're writing checks that actual lifestyle and body can't cash, that's going to hurt during this time. If you're not living up to the standard of your beliefs and ideals and convictions, it's not going to be as easy to get away with it. There's a lot more sort of hot air with Jupiter, and with Saturn and Capricorn, the measuring stick is an actual ruler, not charisma or inspiration that you bring to something. Actually being measured out. Are you what you say? Are you what you say? Do what you say you can do. Are your practices accomplishing anything? Efforts mature. This kind of a more earthy. And it's funny because some people when they hear this, God, that sounds really strict. Sounds really strict and sort of masculine, but it's actually deeply feminine. As a measuring stick, the Earth. If you look at nature, spend some time watching what nature actually does. If you go on a backpacking trip and you don't have the appropriate with you, nature will very quickly teach you a lesson about having the supplies with you. That's just nature. It's not harsh. It's not harsh. In fact, from an archetypal standpoint, it's actually deeply feminine. earthy world is very basic and tangible, and it teaches us through the senses and through the body. And it's not overly kind, and it's not overly cruel. It's just cruel. It just moves along according to fixed rhythms. And so we're entering into a period of time where Saturn, first of all, Saturn's going to feel a lot more comfortable. But we are going to have to. Some of us will have to have a little bit of like a it sort of is a reality check. It doesn't have to be the reality check of some grandpa who's going to unnecessarily or unfairly chastise you or something like that. Saturn's is exalted in the sign of Libra, the fairness. So it's very fair. It's a very fair planet, and coming into a really earthy feminine sign where we're just things are going to be checked against the reality of everyday nature.
Yeah, it's like, are you really walking your talk?
Yeah.
And being honest with yourself, or have you played a little bit too far in Neptune and off in your illusions? And it's very grounding in what you're doing and what you're really attempting to do, and giving you, like, it's almost like a checklist of things to check in with yourself and make sure you're really grounded in what your intentions are and with what's going on. And it's just very interesting with, I was looking online about Saturn and Capricorn, and politically it's always been a shift in attitudes politically in the government. It's like it makes people flip to the other side of where their focus is. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the political and the government, especially since Saturn in Capricorn is pretty much opposite Pluto. And then how does, with Saturn being in Capricorn and then Pluto in Capricorn, how is that going to emphasize or kind of really give you a chance to check in with yourself and seeing what needs to be gone?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, typically Saturn Pluto conjunctions or Saturn Pluto dynamics have been talked about as times of conservative empowerment. Which for some might feel like, kidding me? Like, aren't we already in the middle of that? But I think it actually what it boils down to is a better understanding of the word conservative. Conservative doesn't necessarily rigid far right ideology. In a lot of ways, rigid far right ideology is super Jupiterian. Because it denies the basic reality of things, right? So, for example, Saturn in Sagittarius. You see a president who's basically able to through ideology and blowing Twitter and everything else is able to deny what happened in Puerto Rico. So that Mother Nature devastates Puerto Rico. That's nature. That's nature. That happens. That happens. And then you have Donald Trump. Basically able to through ideology, through belief, through pompous, big puffed up personality is able to distract himself and others from the reality. I think what we're looking at with Saturn and Pluto coming together, things that are undeniable. And that's when we say conservative empowerment. I think people just rush very quickly with Capricorn to words like patriarchy. Just these kind of simple words that things are just going to get really intense and dark, and the old cronies are going to be really empower. And there's maybe some truth to Saturn and Pluto being dark conservative elements at work, dark Saturnine figures, controlling types who masters of darkness. Saturn Pluto as well. The other thing is that The other thing is that when it, let's just say hypothetically, and I'm say hypothetically, this is already sounding very Let's just say that New York City flooded again in Lower Manhattan like it was during Sandy. If that happens, if it happens again, 3 or 4 times, we get another season of hurricanes, big hurricanes. Starts happening. There's more wildfires. There's more earthquakes. It devastates some major city centers. This stuff's going to happen. This stuff's going to happen. Environmental scientists are telling us it's just a matter of time. During the 6 months of Saturn being in Capricorn, we're also going to have Uranus entering Taurus. Earth sign. Uranus is a paradigm breaker. So it's very likely that we're going to see things that are just undeniable life and nature. And that's when conservative empowerment has a very positive meaning, because we have to come to terms in a deeper and more existential way the fact that we are interwoven together as a people. It's easy for people to battle and the need for greater community on an ideological level. But when it's a practical level, when it's actually your city is devastated, your Republican's house is flooded. At that point, all of the other stuff goes out the window, and you actually have to feel the earth beneath your fingers again, and sort of get in there and be human with your fellow humans. And I really think that that's sort of the level of that we might be getting to with Saturn, along with Pluto, in this really earthy sign of Capricorn.
Yes, and is there anything else that's going to be happening in 2018 that you can see being really pivotal points? That's a good thing. I'm still sort of gathering my research. I usually write something about the year ahead, and I'm still sort of in the phase of kind of considering from, and I spend some time formulate my thoughts. I wouldn't have more to say later on that. But there's going to be some definitely some interesting. I think, for example, what is it? Let me just look at my software here for a second. I think it's late in the year. Venus is going to retrograde in Scorpio. And that'll be happening in opposition with Uranus. And I think that's another very pivotal time. And Saturn will be trine with Uranus, Venus retrograde. So I think that has the potential to be a pretty powerful time. That's like September, October. Where you might see. The other thing about Saturn is that it's not only Earth, but it's also issues related to the feminine in general. Saturn is pulling into these Sagittarius, about to move into its feminine sign. The Me Too movement. Has gotten started. And I think it's that kind of stuff we're going to see more of that. This is like I mentioned today, that Capricorn is a bit like Lord of Karma, but wearing the garbs of the crone. So I think feminine, Earth wisdom, and a sort of feminine karmic reaping period are a part of this. And Jupiter, usually where we get our sense of hope and faith, vision, and sort of contrast to Capricorn, it can be a little heavier. Is in a Mars feminine sign like Scorpio for the year. So I believe this is going to be if we can welcome the sort of harvest in our lives. If we can welcome its lessons and know that it's here to serve us and help us, then I think it's going to be refreshing. Finding, getting, in some ways, the feminine, even though it can mow things down and get really real, it also leads us back to the well, actually drink real water. I think that's part of what I see happening too. Yeah, it's just a very interesting time with Jupiter being in Saturn and kind of bringing up what's been hidden for so long. and expanding the vision and really showing us how we all interconnected at the same time, what with what has been hidden with the Me Too movement, and how pervasive it has been for so long that people just are like, wait a minute. And it's interesting to me, I've talked to so many women that who haven't experienced anything like that, or in some ways denial about it, and they're saying, well, why is it taking him 20 years to come out with this stuff? And it's like they're finally having the support to come out with it.
Right.
So,
right.
And I think it's a time of the woman, a feminine energy, the goddess energy is really coming more in the forefront to nurture man, to get that chance to really understand what they're doing to themselves as well as Mother Earth.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
So it's definitely a very interesting time to nurture yourself as well as people around you. But isn't that kind of the Aquarian age, kind of?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So for me, I'm not someone who I don't pay a whole lot of attention. I'm a little bit more tuned into. The conceptualization of ages. Conceptualization of Indian tradition. We're in the Kali Yuga right now. We're in the Kali Yuga right now, which is a dark period of a dark period. It's a very feminine period. It's a very feminine period. It's a period of darkness and decay. It's a period of darkness and decay. They have a pretty bleak view. They definitely believe that things are not. Definitely believe that things are not going to get better, but a little probably better, worse, but and a little probably but worse. They also believe, these ages are cyclical, just part of the nature of just part creation and destruction and creation and destruction of time. So my own view is I am sort of a more of a I like to call myself an optimistic pessimist. An optimistic pessimist. Like I don't when I look at the world, the world, I see predominantly like the Buddha, predominantly like the teachers of the predominantly I see suffering. Predominantly I see suffering. I think that there's of course there's joy. There's of course there's right now happiness too. But right now I especially I think there's a lot of there's a lot of materialism. There's a lot of materialism and ego in how the world is working, how resources are being shared, how resources are being shared, what's being done to the environment. I'm no saint, and I see myself implicated in it too. I see myself implicated in it too. I think to myself, we'll grow, we'll be fine. We'll grow, we'll be fine. Our souls will be fine. Reality will be fine. Reality will be fine. I do think we're going to go through. I do think we're going to go through. A little bit of a dark night of the soul, I think. A little bit of a dark night of the soul in some way, and so ahead of us in some way. And because I feel like if you know that and you accept that, it's actually it can actually I think be very liberating. It can actually I think be very liberating, blissful, to just know and trust, to just know and trust the season that you're in. Sometimes the only I sometimes not everybody's like this, and not everybody's like sort of averse to some of that. I'm sort of averse to some of that attitude about everything being light, about everything being light, so happy and rosy. I stay away from that, but I stay away from that. But I have many colleagues sophisticated, have really articulations of what they believe the age of Aquarius is. That are not at all like that. So I don't are not at all like that. So I don't mean to characterize it like that.
It's just right now I think it's a deep time of really understanding and embracing all the different aspects, all the archetypes that are within you as they appear, and understanding that is a part of you. That's a lesson to learn. That is something to embrace, not reject or deny, because all of you is here to make you grow and raise your consciousness so you truly understand who's being reflected around you.
Yeah, that's really well said. Yeah, that's really well said.
I learned very quickly that there are at least 360 different perspectives to any situation, and you can't really dig into one unless you understand that other perspective.
Sure.
So it's only suffering if you deem it suffering. Otherwise, it's just something to it's like a looking glass to see what another perspective may be. That's me. And something that I was looking on your website.
Nightlight astrology. Nightlight astrology. That's okay.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
My bad. But it really is got a lot of information, and you offer so many different services that you don't see a lot of astrologers do. Like your apprenticeship and all the classes that you're offering. Can you tell us a little bit about more of
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love the opportunity. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love the opportunity. So I offer a first year and a second year natal certification course. You know, every astrologer these days designs, every astrologer different astrologers have sort of different programs. You know, different astrologers have different programs, and then there's more large organizing practitioners like myself, more like individual practitioners like myself, teaching classes. The way that I certify people is very basic. It's attendance oriented, and there's basic. Some final exams, oriented. People also take the final exams, but people also take the classes enrichment for personal enrichment. The first year program is the first year program. The title of the course is actually called Ancient Astrology for Modern Times. It's a crash course in ancient Hellenistic philosophy, Greek astrology. We cover the entire history of astrology. We cover the entire history of astrology, and then we work on building bridges between ancient astrological theory and modern theory. So, ancient astrological theory and modern theory. We study, the third house called the house of siblings. How did it get that way? How did it get that way? What is it? Why are the astronomy? What is it of that portion of the astronomy that ancient astrologers of that portion of the sky designated as astrologers to? We're really trying to dig back into the roots to understand. We're really trying to dig back into the roots to understand the bedrock of the theory. And then we're trying to marry it to some of the cool. And then we're trying to marry it to some of the cool practice, modern evolutions of the practice. And then the whole second half of the year, in the first year program of the year, you get to watch. The first year program, students get to watch. You get to watch do readings for people so that you can see an actual readings astrologer like at work in a session, an actual astrologer like at methodology session, and how I use the methodology that we study. Second year program, it's all about forecasting. In the second year program, it's more about forecasting forms of prediction, more progressions, transits, time lords, progressions, transits, time lords, perfections, stuff like that, and then more hands-on work stuff like that, clients and students who stick around that long with live clients, and students who stick around that long get feedback with live clients. So I do both of those, and then I offer a 1 and 2 year private apprenticeship. I wish I could easily offer it to everybody. I wish that I could privately to everybody. I wish that I could privately. It's a little higher every student price tag, but it's a little higher price tag. The best way to learn. It's the best way to learn. I love working individually with people. However, some people really like working individually with people. However, some people really like working peers and classmates. Working in a group with peers. All my classes are online. Pretty fun. All my classes are online. We just started one a couple of weeks ago. Definitely not. We just started one a couple of weeks ago. Definitely not too late to join. Private apprenticeships can start anytime. I have a variety of readings that I offer. I have a variety of readings that I offer. Check out my website. Under the readings tab, at Nightlight Astrology. Under the readings tab, you'll sort of see all the different personal readings I do. Sort of see all the different personal readings I do. And then every season, every season, I host 3 or 4 professional astrologers, 3 or 4 guest speaker professional astrologers through guest speaker my certification courses. So students are also getting exposed to students are also getting 12 different visiting astrologers, usually about 12 different lectures visiting astrologers. I got a lot going on, and then I write I got a lot going on. Every day I write a daily horoscope. Every day I write a daily horoscope. Just started a video blog on YouTube as well. Just started a video blog. Busy with astrology. Busy with astrology.
Yes, and your daily horoscope or blog is also available on Reality Sandwich.
That's right. Yeah. So not every day. That's right. But occasionally I will post. Not every day, but occasionally I will post to RealitySandwich.com as well, to RealitySandwich.com as well, which is actually where I started as a writer and blogger almost 10 years ago now. Over almost 10 years ago now.
Wow. And again, if people are interested, how can
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch with me is to visit the website, which is www.astrology.com. It's all together, Astrology.com. It's all together, Astrology.com. And then I should mention that. And then I should mention that at the last 40 days of every year, go into some fasting and meditation and prayer. Go into some fasting and meditation and prayer. And I raise funds for So right now I've got up my annual Kickstarter going. Right now I've got up my annual Kickstarter going. Back my daily work. Donate. There's a bunch of gifts that I give. Donate. There's a bunch of gifts that I give. Stuff like that that are like thank you readings. A little bit stuff like that that are. A little bit, maybe a little bit more affordable for some people, maybe a little bit more affordable for some people, stuff like that. So and make good holiday gifts and stuff like that. If you visit my website, you'll see pretty much. If you visit my website, every single pretty much daily astrology post, every single daily astrology post, you'll find links or videos to my Kickstarter page, and people could check that out too.
And I was just going to bring that up because that is a wonderful way to get some funding and also let people know how wonderful your work is. And Adam, I would love to just plug into your brain sometime and just figure out the way you're thinking, because
thank you.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
I think the way you look at the world and explain it and share your views are phenomenal. I really enjoy your videos, and you got
thank you. It's really thank you. Thank you. I can't tell you how many people see as I write. I can't tell you how many people started this YouTube as I write every day, and I just started my name Adam Elenbaas, which people could search my name Adam Elenbaas on YouTube. And I've had so many YouTube channel, and I've had so many. I get some of my readers are like, oh, I'm so happy you're doing a YouTube. Some of my readers are like, oh, I'm so happy you're doing a YouTube. Others are like, reading your stuff. I don't want to take the time to watch a video. I don't want to take the time to watch a video. It's funny, please don't do videos. It's funny, like I've built this and then transitioning to try something new, and then transitioning to try something new. It like really rocks the boat. So I'm really actually very happy to hear. So I'm really actually very happy. We're getting a lot of my readers who are like, I want to read something. I don't want to watch. I want to read something. I don't want to watch. Balance it all. Like okay, trying to balance it all.
There's some people I hear their voice and the vibration is so high. The other person I've had on here, and at the time he wasn't doing any radio or anything, was Eric Francis from
Sure.
Net.
Sure.
I heard his voice and I go, you've got to do radio or something because you've got the voice, and it just raises your energy up listening to him. And
that's very nice of you to say. That's very nice of you to say.
So, thumbs up. Keep up the good work. And again, I thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule and talking with us on air. And I know you're going to go over the top with your Kickstarter. I think you're just going to have a wonderful year. And I hope...
I would love that, Jennifer. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And with that, this is Jennifer Hillman saying, with each breath of air, we hope you gain insights, information, and imagination. Till next time,